Log on here. Started in a sec. So it seems like a pretty good time to for us to get started. Um, so welcome to our first live chat. I realize it's quite early. I have a regular full-time job that I also do, which makes the scheduling of these sometimes a little bit tricky. But if I do it early in the week and early in the day, I am guaranteed to get it completed and out of the way. So that is a good thing. If ever you do find yourself missing one of these sessions, they are archived right in the class, so you can go back and kind of and watch it whenever it's convenient for you. If this is not a convenient time. So, today I wanted to do a couple things. We'll spend this week introducing ourselves to each other, over text and the discussion boards and whatnot. I like to do it here as well, just audibly at least, even if it's virtually over Zoom. But if you feel comfortable and you are in a place where you can speak, like not at work or in traffic or something, if you're in a place where you can speak and want to, I'd love to hear your, your name, what you're kind of doing in school, for instance, like maybe what some of your goals are, and perhaps some of your experience with marketing, if any. And then I'll just kind of call out names. And if you can speak and want to, feel free. If you can't, don't worry about it. So, Serena Pitts, would you like to get us started?
Hi, my name is Serena. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. And I have been in hospital operations for revenue cycle for about 20 plus years, but
Cool.
I took a sabbatical in about around September 23 to stay at home with my mom full time. She had emergency surgery and had to have a lot of help, had a colostomy bag and everything. And so
Right.
I am just now getting back into the workforce. And the first thing that I experienced was all of the AI and the incorporation of it. And so I had a hard time finding a job, even though I feel like I have all of the experience necessary. But I decided to go ahead and finish my master's degree. I started it at USA in Mobile, Alabama, and
Okay.
um, and now I'm doing this.
Very cool. Very cool. Have you had any experience with any marketing courses before, by any chance?
No, not really. This is going to be
Okay.
new for me.
Okay. That's almost a little better. I think your experience, 20 years experience working somewhere, you're going to find a lot of these concepts, I'd wager, almost like review, things that you kind of didn't know that you knew already. A lot of stuff will be in here. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
have so far just reading the material. Yes.
that's good. That's good. Well, you're in the right place. So thank you for that. Um, very cool. Let's see. Susan Sword, are you in a place where you can speak?
Yes, good morning. Hi, Suzanne Sward. I
Suzanne.
am based out of Chicago. I'm so excited to be getting my MBA at CTU with a focus on operations and supply chain. the reason I'm back in school is because I actually do have a 12-year career in marketing specifically. And
Nice.
I kind of got to a point where I figured if I want to continue moving up, when your peers become those cross functional leaders, you're no longer in the marketing bubble, as I call it. It's really important
Right.
to have empathy for what the other functions do, how they prioritize work, and things like that. So I'm really here. I'm currently in an operations role at my company, still within safe harbor of marketing, but I really want to make sure that I understand broader than just the skill set that I've developed professionally. But I totally agree, actually, that the coursework so far that I've flipped through is really awesome to get a refresher, and it's really energizing. So I'm excited, even though if it might feel a little bit basic at times for me, I think it's great to stay focused on the customer and have some of those fundamental reminders too. So very happy to be here.
That's weird that they wouldn't let you get credit for this class with so much experience in marketing. But I mean, silver lining there, and not have to take it, you know. But the silver lining is that this should be kind of like review stuff for you because we're not doing rocket science marketing stuff in this one. This is kind of an introductory marketing kind of course for the beginning of an MBA program. So it's good for that. But that's great. Thank you so much for sharing, and it'll be nice to have insights in those discussion boards from a marketing person. Let's see here. Monica McDade, are you in a place where you can say hello? And no worries if not.
No, no, I
Okay.
don't.
Okay. All right. No worries. Let's move down the list here. Kina, is it Kosis? Are you in
Oh,
a place
wait,
where you could say?
sorry, you said introduction.
Oh yeah, only if you want to. It's not a requirement, but if you'd like to, we'd love to hear kind of just who you are, some of your goals, perhaps any experience with marketing so far.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Monica here out of San Diego. I'm doing my MBA in business administration. I don't have, I guess you could say, any schooling experience in it, but I do own a group home for developmentally disabled teens. And so I felt like with taking this course and things, I can help build additional knowledge to be able to start opening a second home.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This class will absolutely help you in doing that. That's great. And I'm actually from California, and I went to school, well, for 2 years at San Diego State. It was
Oh,
a little,
awesome.
yeah, it was a little bit too fun for me though, and I had to transfer. But yeah, I love San Diego, so great to have you here.
Thanks.
Okay, so moving down, I think
Yes, I'm here. You
okay,
ask about Kina.
yeah, do you want to go next?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm Kina Kosis. You had my name exactly right.
All
Thank you.
right.
Uh, dealing with a head cold right now, unfortunately. Do I have marketing experience? I've got some in my background, which is quite extensive. The background is not the marketing. And I took the prerequisite courses, the 500 courses, before I started my MBA program. So I've got a recent exposure to marketing. Um, I am working currently as a bookkeeper, but I decided to get my MBA with focus on accounting because I've never had an accounting course. And so I decided I better do something about it. Um, I've been in the workforce for over 50 years and I've been out of school. I got my bachelor's over 38 years ago. So I've had a lot to learn to catch up to being everything online or having everything online. Anyway, thank you, Christopher. I'm looking forward to the course.
Crystal Core, yeah, thank you. That's great. We've got a lot of people so far that have some great experience. You'll see like the discussion boards. they can get a little stale if there's a lot of people in the class where the subject matter is very, very, very new. If there's a couple students peppered in here and there that are kind of familiar with it, I think it helps. So that's great. Let's see here. Brandy, is it Hosey? Are you in a place where you could say hi?
Hi, yes, it is. You said that correctly. It's Brandy Hosey. Hello, everyone. I'm Brandy. I am calling in from Charlotte, North Carolina, originally from Michigan. My background, I do have some marketing experience. My background is tech and recruiting and finance. I'm in the
Cool.
MBA program here with the concentration in entrepreneurship. I
Nice.
am a small business owner, and so I
Perfect.
got into the program so that I can learn how to manage my own business better, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
This course I'm super excited about because this is the missing piece for me.
Yeah.
I really do need to know how to market myself in the digital age on social media and things of that nature. So, really excited about this course, and I'm just glad to be here.
Cool. Cool, cool. That's great to hear. And yeah, I wish so I teach a social media marketing course. I do
Oh,
international
wow.
marketing. I do principles of marketing, and I do some business ethics stuff as well. It's like I wish I could like pack all of that stuff into just one course. We'll cover social media a little bit in this one, just
Okay.
kind of like, cursory topic in a cursory topic sort of way. But
Okay.
certainly for scaling your business, like marketing is perfect for that. And this course is perfect for that and finding new customers and serving them
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. So that's perfect that's what you're after. One thing I remember saying after my MBA and then my DBA, the MBA I felt like showed me how to kind of operate and run my own individual independent business on my own. Like I focused on my blue ocean strategy and like it was I learned how to do it myself. The DBA kind of taught me how to operate in a very large existing corporation, right? So
Mm.
I think you're at the very perfect, correct step here. If you're going for entrepreneurship, you sort of own your own small business, this is a great class for all of that. So I'm glad
Thank
to hear
you.
that.
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for sharing. Um, let's see here. How about let's see, Stephen Melchiori? Is that I hope I
Yeah,
didn't say that wrong.
that's amazing. No one gets it right on the first time. Everyone says Melchior, so very good. So I'm from Pennsylvania. Work in New Jersey as a hospital administrator for a large metropolitan hospital system. Currently have a master's in nursing leadership and health systems management. Really
Awesome.
looking to keep pace with the corporate function here at my hospital system. They're really doing a lot in branding and marketing of the entire system. We have a lot of marketing campaigns with the New Jersey Devils. Um,
Cool.
really looking to get more information on that, as well as understanding a lot of the financial aspects of the hospital arena here, um, and just really looking to learn a lot. So, thanks.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, my MBA concentration was in healthcare management and administration, and I found hospital that that whole industry is very interesting to me. I always found that it was. I never went into it, oddly enough, but I always wanted to. So that's very cool. All right, sorry, we're going down the list here. Usually there's like one or two people at the first live chat. I'm not used to. You guys are on top of it. It's good. It's a good sign. Um, let's see. Is William Verona? Are you in a place where you could say hello? No
Yes,
worries.
yes. I'm William Verona. I go by Billy. Um,
Okay.
I I got into marketing because I did have a visual marketing job. Thought, well, it'd be great to continue. But then I found a job that is perfect for me. I'm a house manager at a clean and sober living, and I help families get together with their kids.
Oh, cool.
That's what
Very
I'm
cool.
doing now. I have a little bit of visual marketing. Um, the last time I was in school was in 1984, so it was a while back.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, no worries at all. And yeah, hopefully this stuff will just kind of like flood right back to you. Uh,
That's what the associates and the bachelors. The only reason I got through it is because it was all life experiences for me. Now I reach this, and it's a little bit more challenging because I haven't been to this high of a in in marketing. So
yeah. Yeah.
associates and bachelors was easy because it was just life experience.
It's not too much more. It's much more hyper focused on the subject, right? So you got to go into a little bit more depth and whatnot. But that's that's why we take the classes. So it's a good first step, and yeah, I don't think it'll be a problem for you at all.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go down. Dawn Lemons, are you in a place where you could say hello?
Yes, and I'm glad you actually said that correctly. Some people actually get my last name wrong sometimes. Um, my name's Dawn Lemons. I am a mother of two special needs boys. One of them has cerebral palsy and the other one has autism. Um, I used to be a nurse at a residential place before I got disabled.
Okay,
Um, with marketing, I plan on learning as much as I can because I'm wanting to officially open me a small business. Um, I plan on doing some charity as well with my business for, research for cerebral palsy and for autism as well.
right.
Um, I do have a little bit of management on me. Whenever I was a nurse, I was actually helping my boss with I guess it'd be like semi running the residential area.
Okay,
Um since he was further away from the business than I was in town. He would have me go over and, tell like people what they need to do and so on and so forth. Sometimes I would help him with setting up like schedules and whatnot. Um, I also have helped out with one of my friends. They have a with Amazon and eBay store, and I was helping them with that as well. But other than that, I am looking forward to this class and learning more and taking what I know and using it to its full advantage.
okay. Yeah, management. It's funny. So my doctorate is in business administration, concentration, marketing. Business administration and management back in like the 50s or 60s used to be synonyms. The degree used to be called a business management degree versus a business administration degree. But long story short, I have a lot of education in management as well as marketing. And it's funny the way that you phrased it. It's kind of like you were um, managing that place because you were closer to it. If you think of marketing, it's very similar to that. Like, but you're just managing a product, right? Which could be an idea, an actual physical good. It could be anything. A product can be anything, but you're managing the product versus the actual location and whatnot. So it's a little bit more focused. But that's cool. That's good. That's good. Okay, and I think we're getting close to the end here. And let's see. Is it Anatoly Guy Zarobi? I feel like I butchered that name, but are you in a place where you could say hello? No worries if not. Okay, we're gonna move on to. Oh,
Hello,
there we go.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm in a safe place. Yes, you said it right. My name is Anatole. It's pronounced Guy. It's in French.
Hmm.
Uh,
Oh, cool,
and
cool.
Zorobi is my last name.
Okay,
So I have been into operations management for a long time. I'll say almost 20 years. I started as operator and move up, the ladder to production team lead to production group lead to production supervisor and to production manager. And did get my bachelor's degree into healthcare management, healthcare leadership
Okay.
to be exact, at Bedford University in Minnesota, St. Paul. And I was exposed to marketing really early on because I was building medical device product for the marketing team to market the product to doctors, basically. So that was my initial exposure. But on top of that, I did get some classes into marketing to kind of understand the lane, in terms of how things work and how that relates to operations as well. So I'm really, really excited to learn more because I really want to improve what I know and, get better at what I do every day. So looking forward to learning from everybody on the call.
That's great. That's great. Um, cool. Yeah, I think you're in the right place for it. We've got a lot of good students this round, it sounds like. So this is really going to be, I think, a good 5 weeks. Um, I believe we've got maybe four more students if you'll just bear with me. Brandon Wilson, are you in a place where we can say hello? No worries if not. Okay, I'm gonna move down the line. Is it Daryl Jones? Darrell Jones? Okay, I was on a streak there. Looks like I may have run out. Aisha Duggar, are you in a place where you could say hello? Okay, and I think we got just one more. Is it Stephanie Mayer? Stephanie Mayer.
I'm sorry, Professor. This is
Oh,
Aisha
you're
Duggar. Good morning.
hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm good and yourself.
Good, thanks. Would okay, let's see. I think is there anyone that I may have missed? Would anyone else like a chance to just say hello?
Yeah, my name is Sandra Rains,
Sandra. Hi,
and
Sandra.
hi, I'm in Stockbridge, Georgia. I I'm getting my master's in business administration. I've had some quote unquote experience in marketing. Um, I worked at Verizon Wireless and the National Strategic Accounts,
Oh,
where
cool.
you know I was a liaison there,
Okay.
and I also worked and the Home Depot as a liaison. So I had some experience, but not to that
That-
point where, I can just go ahead and say, I'm marketing this or marketing that. But I want to start my own business because I am a seasoned professional. So I'm not
Okay.
saying I'm not old, but I'm a seasoned professional.
Cool. Well, I think you're in the right place for that. Marketing has to do with absolutely every possible thing you could ever think of regarding a business. A lot of things that people think, when people think like, "Oh, I'm going to business school," or they talk about, "Yeah, I'm in business," or I'm learning about business." What they're really saying is, "I'm learning about marketing." Business administration is a subset of marketing, as is advertising. A lot of people equate marketing and advertising as synonyms that they mean the same thing. Advertising and marketing mean the same thing. They don't. Advertising is a very small, well, it's an important, but it's a small subsection of marketing. Marketing is everything from the inception, product inception to product death. Like it covers everything along the product life cycle. And including how you get the product from A to B, what the cost should be, what it should look like, what the benefits are, what the features are, like everything, right? So if you're looking to get into and or like a small business or start your own small business, this is perfect. That's what we're going to be talking about and reading about. So it sounds like everyone is in the right place. Um, looking in the comments. This is a random aside here that has nothing to do with anything. I tried to teach myself French for about 3 years and I failed miserably, but I can read it pretty well. So I see Serena Pitts has a very good French comment in the comment box. I just wanted to throw it out there that number one, I was impressed with the French there, and then I was impressed with myself that I could read it. Um, so that's great. All right. So
I took
without
three
further,
years of it. I took 3 years of it, but I just know enough.
yeah,
So
no, it was good. I looked over to the right. I was like, all right, there we go.
I was
You're
saying
just
bonjour, Anatole.
Bonjour, comment tu vas?
there you go. All right.
So
Well,
I
how
do
late do
have
you
a
guys get?
question, really quick question.
Sure, sure.
You said something very interesting about, marketing when it comes to the product, life cycle. What is the
Yeah.
biggest difference between marketing and product management in your perspective?
And product management, nothing really, to be honest. Marketing has everything to do with product management, maybe not in such like a hyper-focused way, right? As like I don't know, like a academic subject or whatever. But marketing covers product management. I wouldn't say that there's necessarily all that much difference between those concepts, and I'll bet that they blend together. As we kind of progress through the course with the reading and stuff, I think you'll probably find that too. That's a good question though. If you think of it, hold on to it for 2 or 3 weeks and ask me again, and I might, you know, make it rhetorical and ask you right back. But if you think of it, ask me again, and you can maybe let me know what you think at that point. After we've done a little bit of reading, that's a good question though. Okay, so let's go ahead and kind of, I'm gonna share my screen with y'all. Let's kind of just get into the course here. I don't know necessarily how much lecture we're going to do today. I think it's more important to tell you guys a little bit about the assignments than sort of anything else. So y'all should see my screen, my dashboard. It should say, applied managerial marketing. You should see unit one there, and we're just going to scroll down a little bit until we see the discussion board and the individual project. Every week, this is kind of your deal. You're going to have a discussion boards due, and you're going to have a paper due. That's what they call the individual projects. They're basically 5-page papers. So the discussion board for week one, um, well, for any week and for any assignment, you want to get into this view details button. You want to read this first to make sure that you're covering the assignment, all the things that the assignment wants you to cover. Week one, thankfully, is very, very not stringent in its rules. You just introduce yourself in 100 words, right? And please don't please count out at least 100 words. Don't do 98 words. I'll mark you off for that, right? Like every teacher is kind of weird in the things that they are find important, and they're just little idiosyncrasies, syncrasies that perhaps each person grew up with. I don't know what it is or why it is, but I'm a huge stickler for word count, right? So if the assignment asks you for 100 words and you post 97, well, you haven't fulfilled the minimum requirements of that assignment, right? So just make sure to fulfill the word count. There's like a really big one with me. It's pretty easy to do too. So you just make sure you do as many words as it asks for, introduce yourself in 100 words, and then respond to two of your colleagues by the responses are due Saturday. The initial bio is due Thursday, right? So just kind of each week you're going to kind of follow that pattern. You're going to do an initial post and then two responses. The thing that changes is what the post is about and the length of the post. So you'll see like next week the requirements jump pretty drastically. But one thing at a time. Let's just focus on this week. This week, by Thursday, post 100 word, at least 100 words. Go over a little bit. Just give yourself a cushion. Go over 100 words and just introduce yourself and then respond to two colleagues by Saturday. And there you go. If you scroll down, every discussion board will have this rubric, right? These obviously get more complicated when the discussions get more complicated. This one's pretty easy. It's like introduce yourself in 100 words. Did you respond to two people? Right? If you did both of those things, you'll get 10 points. That's full credit, and then we can be done with it, right? Next week, I'll be sure to go over the discussion board because it changes a little. But it gets much longer. Weeks 2, 3, and 4, the discussion boards are pretty long. But you can start preparing for that if you like. This week is chill. At least the discussions are. The actual paper is it's a regular paper, right? So we've got a regular 5-page paper. Um, it's going to be on, like, reading wise in your textbook. It's going to be on chapters 1 and 2. It's going to cover concepts like a target market and segmentation. Usually I wouldn't even talk about those for quite a few weeks into a marketing course like this, but I don't get to make those decisions, right? So we're going to start with segmentation, and we're going to talk about demographic and psychographic segmentation styles. So right, a lot of big scary words. They're not overly difficult concepts, and we'll review them at least quickly. The point that I wanted to make here is that there's a large description in this assignment, right? You'll see here, you got this paragraph, we've got an image, right? We've got some product stuff, environmental impact. Read all this very carefully. This is the information you need to kind of write your paper, right? You need to do the chapter reading, perhaps do some outside research, find a few articles, that will help too. But all the stuff you need to write this paper is going to be in here, including this like template, right? They want you to be using the template. I'm supposed to return your submission to you if you don't use it. Um, I don't I don't know why they like it. So I'm supposed to tell you to use it. So, click this hyperlink here. It'll open up into just a Word document. Um, Perhaps if you'll bear with me, I'm just going to go into it very quickly. You would be surprised. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to reshare the paper. Make sure I do this correctly. So when you click on that link, you will be taken to this Microsoft Word document, right? It'll say Unit 1, individual project, student name. Please, please take this out and put your name in there. Please don't just leave it as student name. Additionally, under professor's name, write my name, Professor Serafin, right? Or Dr. Serafin. Don't leave it as Professor Serafin or a professor's name. And also, this is just a little thing. Some students, I didn't learn this until graduate school. You would think I would have known it before. I don't know why I didn't. It's kind of a faux pas. Never call a professor by their first and last name. So if you were just walking up to me or talking to me in an email, you would be like, "Hey, Chris, what was the answer to to number 2, or whatever." Some professors are really finicky about that, but I guess you never want to call them by their first name. It's always Professor so and so, or if they have a doctorate, Doctor so and so. So make sure under professor's name you don't just write Chris Serafin, right? Professor Serafin. This will serve you well throughout your entire program, not just this class. I don't really care about it all that much, but I think it's important to at least let you guys know, just in case you run into one of those teachers that really does care. If we scroll down a little bit, you'll see that the template is kind of set up for you guys to type your response here, type your response here. It's set up for you guys to sort of like complete this project. Make sure you're taking out the placeholder text. Like if it says type your response here, take out the words type your response here, right? Maybe you don't need these questions like at the top of your paragraph. Just go through, make sure you're like paying attention to what you're turning in. And if something is like placeholder text, generally you don't want that in your paper, right? But I thought it's a good idea to show you guys what the template kind of looks like. It's just a pre-formatted document, right? I think a couple of y'all were saying you hadn't been in school for a while. I know that fear, by the way, because that was me about 2 years ago. I went back and got a third master's degree against all logic and reason, but it had been a while, and I was a little nervous going back to school. When it comes to if you hadn't been to school for a while, nothing's really all that different except for like I would say the formatting and the APA, the American Psychological Association citation style is the style that business follows. And we're in a business program, so we do APA. So it's like the formatting, your professors, including me, might be more of a stickler about formatting and APA, which is basically just citing your work. We cite our work so that we don't get charged with plagiarism, right? We have to tell the reader that the idea we just said wasn't ours. We read that somewhere else and it belongs to Professor Smith from Emory, right? Or something. You have to attribute, you have to let the reader know what ideas come from elsewhere. That's what a citation does, right? So we're going to practice citations. We're going to practice APA in this class. The point is, you'll see, right? APA right there. You will get it wrong. That is good if you get it wrong. We want to get it wrong because when you get something wrong and you're mortified that you got something wrong, you do it correctly the next time and you never forget again. When you catch yourself and teach yourself the right way to do something, you'll never forget it. That's how I got through all of my various programs. Fail miserably, first or second assignment, and then I would kind of progress for the rest of the course. So I would like to say that if you do get a grade on the first IP that you might not like, you can talk to me about it and whatever. You're kind of supposed to not do that well on the first assignment. Then you'll get feedback on how to improve. You'll incorporate that feedback for the next assignment, and your next assignment will be better, right? The course is supposed to be a progression. So in a sense, you're not all supposed to flunk week one. That's not what I'm saying. But you might not do as well as you wanted. It's not the end of the world, right? You have week 2, week 3, week 4, and week 5 to improve. I've seen students get um, literally get Fs on their first IP, not do well on the second discussion board, do kind of bad on the second IP, and still get A's in the class. Like you can do it, you just it's not the end of the world if you get a bit of a bad grade. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Absolutely, like I encourage you to talk to me. We can set up an appointment or Messenger works great or whatever. I just wanted to throw it out there. Sometimes that happens, right? You make a mistake. And if you make a mistake and do poorly, I always say it's a good thing. It's not what a student wants to hear, but it's good. You won't make it again. You'll notice also we call this page where all the long references are, the long citations. We call it a references page. We don't call it works cited. We don't call it a bibliography. We call it references in APA. It's specific. The word matters. You want to take this placeholder text out, cite 1 to 3 sources, right? Take that out. And then they give you some examples of what an appropriately cited APA reference looks like. Here's one from Glidden. If I'm not mistaken, these are books, except for this one looks like a web page. We'll get into this a little bit later, but APA cites things differently. So they'll cite a website one way, and then they'll cite a book a different way, and then they'll cite a YouTube video a different way, and a lecture a different way. There's a unique way to do each one. Not to worry, there is one location where you can go to figure out how to do all of them. Pretty easy, but just knowing that that's a thing can be helpful. In any event, there is our individual project template, right? And you'll find that in the view details section of our first assignment in the course. Sorry, I'm just going back to the course here. And the last thing I wanted to do we're back into the individual project in the course. Last thing I wanted to do was encourage you guys to scroll down to the bottom each week for the IPs. You'll see a rubric, just like you did with the discussion boards. This rubric is important because this is the thing I use to grade your papers. So it's like, let's look at the first one. The expectation is that your paper is assignment specific. Well, what does that mean? In this context, it means that you included 5 features and benefits in your paper. So if you didn't, I can't give you any points. Maybe you put 4 features and 4 benefits. Okay, well, that's most of them. Maybe that's 35 points out of 40 or something. You know what I mean? Like this is the thing I use to grade your papers. So it's not a bad idea to come here before you turn it in and be like, okay, do I have 5 features and benefits? No, I have 4. I better add one before I turn this in. You know what I mean? Like it's a good idea to kind of cross reference the rubric with your completed paper each week. And whether that's a discussion board or an IP, it's not a bad idea to do. One last thing that I'll say regarding assignment submissions. Um, you will you will submit things. I will look at it and I will give you feedback on what you submitted, right? I have seen this happen a lot lately, and I don't know why. I'm giving you feedback for how to improve on the next assignment. I'm not telling you to go back into the same assignment that I just graded and give you feedback on and fix it and then turn it in again. We don't do that. We don't get to keep turning assignments in as many times as we want until we get the grade that we want. The idea, I would never stop grading papers, right? The idea is to spend lots of time and effort and, just make it as edited and proofread and perfect as you possibly can. Nothing ever will be perfect, right? Just do your best. Try really hard to turn in as close to perfect of a product as you can, right? Because you get one submission per assignment. You can turn assignments in perhaps late if you haven't turned one in yet, but we don't do multiple submissions. So it's not like you get to turn assignment 1 in 6 times until you get the grade you get. You get to turn in once, you get feedback, and then you use that feedback for unit 2. So that's kind of that's how that works. Okay. Good. That actually went a little quicker than I thought it was going to. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Oh, I'm not. One last thing. See up here, we've got assignments, then we've got live chats, then we've got books and resources. This is a pretty useful tab over here. You'll see this week, the reading's kind of manageable. It's like chapters 1 and 2. When we get into unit 2 and 3, it's ridiculous. They're asking you to read like 4 and 5 chapters in 6 days. Like no one can do that. You guys work and you have families and right. It's it will be difficult to do all of that reading. In the event that you cannot do all of it, um, there are some articles in here that are certainly going to be shorter than the textbook chapter. They might actually kind of cover some of the same material that the textbook talks about. And you might have time to read some of these articles or watch some of these YouTube videos, whereas you might not have time to read all the chapters it's asking you to read if we're in unit 2 or 3 or 4. So this books and resources tab it's useful, right? Not just because that's where your textbook is, but because there's these resources that the school kind of like auto populates these, but I've gone in and put a few in too. I if we go like right here, like this APA reference list for authors, there's another one. The APA in-text citations. I put those in for you guys, just in case you haven't had any experience with APA. This one's pretty good. Demographic versus psychographic segmentation. It tells you the difference between them. Like maybe the book didn't explain this concept very well, and you're like, well, I still don't get it. So you're looking down at the different articles. You're like, maybe this one will tell me, and maybe this article explains it to you in a way that helps you. You know, so like browse through these. I'll try. I don't always remember to do it. I'll try to add if I think of an article or something that's super helpful for a certain week that isn't in there, I'll try to add it. But generally the stuff that's already there is pretty good for you guys. And it's like I forget week 2, like or unit 2. I think it's chapters like 3, 4, 5, and 6 or something. And so, once again, that's above my pay grade. I'm not making those decisions telling you what you should and shouldn't read. I'm just facilitating the class. I know why they do it, though, that way. So this class, it's because of accreditation. Accreditation bodies are the institutions that say that a school has been verified as like it checks out. It's an authentic, it's an actual school. They're not just going to take your money and give you a fake degree, right? That's like accreditation bodies are very important. CTU is absolutely accredited. The accreditation body will tell CTU, okay, you're teaching these classes. These classes have to cover a certain amount of material. We see that your classes are 5 weeks. We don't care if they're 4 weeks, 8 weeks, or 15 weeks. You got to cover all of this info, right? So usually we would talk about all this stuff in about 15 weeks in a semester, right? Technically, there's 16 weeks, but you always get a week off. We're doing it in 5. We're doing it in a third of the time. It's like a fire hose of information that we're spraying at you. Hopefully, some of it sticks. It's just the way that CTU decided to do their coursework. They're 5 weeks long because of the shorter time frame, the amount of information we require from you that we have to give you, that we're required to give you. It seems like more. It's the same amount as if it was just a regular semester course. But if you're getting frustrated at the amount of reading you're expected to do, the reason behind that, it's not even CTU doesn't even have a say in it. It's the accreditation body. You have to cover certain material in a course, right? So that is why that is. But long story short, books and resources tab is a useful place to go if you find that you can't do perhaps all the reading, or maybe if the reading didn't explain to you sufficiently what you wanted to know. So we do have just like a little bit of time left. I do see a hand up. Stephen,
Yeah,
did you?
Professor, is there a similarity score we should look not to exceed?
Oh, similarity score. Yes. Yeah, you probably don't want to go over 50 percent. Certainly the standard is 25%, right? But like in these courses, since I get 70 students every 5 weeks writing about the exact same thing, your similarity scores are going to be they're going to be higher. If you are citing your work properly, the similarity shouldn't really matter because, right, um, the citation like rejects the charge of plagiarism. Like you can't
Okay,
have copied it um, from somewhere else if you attribute it properly, right?
gotcha.
That being said, if you turn in a paper that's like 100% similarity, it's going to look like you turned in someone else's paper. So I really, to answer your question, yeah, you definitely don't want to go over 50. I'd shoot for like 30. I'd probably shoot for 30.
Okay,
If your paper is over 50, like you're in trouble. Like don't turn that in. You'll get in
gotcha.
trouble.
Thanks.
But yeah, probably between 25 and 30 is probably okay. And if you do have a question about it and you're like, God, I just can't get this similarity score down, like, and you want to ask me and you finished it with enough time where you can ask me, beforehand, feel free to do so. Be like, look, I got this paper, there's a huge similarity score. I don't know how to get it down and I don't know why. What should I do? And I'll do my best to come up with a solution for you. So, yeah, with me, I'm glad you asked that question. With me, I care less about similarity scores than I do about artificial intelligence or generative AI, which I haven't really had a chance to talk about. Since this course, all of the assignments in this course are written, right? They're writing based, which if it was up to me, I would change all of that, right? You can't depend on it anymore. But it's not up to me. Since all the assignments in this course are writing based, the temptation, trust me, I was a student recently. I know that there's temptation to use generative AI to complete your assignments. Please don't do that. I will notice, right? And then just think about it. I mean, basically my life, all I do all day, every day is review student papers. I know how AI sounds. It doesn't sound like a human. It uses different words, it uses different grammar, it uses different sentence structure. To like the general person that doesn't, use it all the time, it's not as easy to notice. But I mean, I can pick it up in just 2 paragraphs. So just please don't use generative AI. Like your papers will be worse if you don't use it. I want them to be worse. I want you guys to screw up and be like, oh, I forgot about that little grammar rule, right? I want you to be able to write a paper if you don't have access to the internet, right? Like things like that. So if you are um, flagged for turning in something that's AI, you might get, you'll probably get the assignment back and you'll be asked to do it again. And if you turn it in again and there's more AI, you might get sent to the Academic Integrity Review Board, and you just don't want that. And I'll be honest with you, I don't want to do that. It's more work for me. Like I don't want to get anyone in trouble. It's not why I became a teacher. Like I don't think it's not fun for me. Uh, but like I have a, I'm supposed to follow this protocol, right? If I notice things. So just don't do it, and then we don't have to have any unpleasantness. You know, I trust me, I know the temptation there. I just finished a law program. I think it was a year ago, and it was hard. It was really hard. And yeah, ChatGPT was sitting right there singing to me, asking me to use it. But at the end of the day, it's just not worth it. And you're kind of cheating yourself if you're here to actually learn the stuff. So that's my AI spiel. Just try not to use it, or please don't use it. I don't want to get you in trouble. You know. Um, anyways. Anyways, yeah, it's been the bane of my existence for the last like 3 years. But yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so in the last just couple of minutes here, I'm going to share my screen once again. I'm going to show you a lecture slide. It should say Chapter 9, Market Segmentation. I use, in my lectures, I use a different book and different lecture slides than BEST. BEST is the one that CTU uses. I use a different book because I like it better. My lecture slides are already created in this one. They talk about the same things that BEST talks about. It's just in a much easier to understand way. I just like it better, so I use this one. Um, this chapter, which we are not going to have in time to get through, um, talks a little bit about segmentation and target markets. And you guys will be asked to talk about those in your paper. I'm going to skip through some of this stuff so we can just kind of get into the meat and potatoes of what you're being asked to do. So, segmentation and target markets, that's what we're going to talk about here. If you think of the United States, the whole United States, it wouldn't be necessarily efficient. And you're a company, sorry, you're a company that makes baby strollers, let's say, and you have the entire United States to market to. It wouldn't be necessarily economically efficient to market to every single human being in the United States and say, and try to advertise and get them to buy your baby stroller. That's because not everybody is in the market for a baby stroller. Only certain people are. Generally, these are going to be what? New parents? New parents have a tendency, general pattern to be maybe 20s, 30s, something like that. Okay, now we're getting more specific. Maybe they're people that live in a certain neighborhood, right? The population starts to dwindle. So now you're not marketing to the entire United States. You are segmenting that large population into smaller populations. And somewhere within that smaller population is your target market, which is even smaller than the segment itself. The target market is the group of people that you want to go after to buy your stuff. In our example, your target market is like new parents or people that have however old the baby is when you get a stroller, right? Whatever. That would be your target market, right? It's the segment of consumers most likely to purchase your thing. That's what a target market is. And like the hard part is kind of finding them. The way you start to try to find them is through segmentation. There's a lot of different ways to segment a large population. Um, you are being asked to discuss two of those ways in your paper. Those ways are known as demographic segmentation and psychographic segmentation, right? If you look at the words just themselves, um, they're big, scary words, demographic and psychographic. But if you break them down, they're not really so much. Demos, right? We know demos. Demos is that it's that Greek word. We get democracy from it. It just means people. Demos just means people. Attributes related to people. So these are things like age, gender, perhaps like stage in life cycle. So that might be things like your new parents, right? Or maybe you're retired, or maybe you're a student, or whatever. You're a working professional. Um, that's demographic segmentation is stuff that has to do with people. Psychographic, just think of like psychology. Psychology has to do with stuff that we're thinking, right? It's like values and stuff in our minds. Um, those are the kinds of things that sort of influence behavior in psychographic segmentation, right? That's what we're talking about with demographic and psychographic, right? So I'm gonna have to, in the interest of time, skip through a couple of these. So don't worry too much. We're just gonna get to the right segmentation style. Segmentation is like really only limited by your creativity, right? How can you think of different ways to chop up a larger population into smaller ones, in such a way that the smaller populations follow some sort of pattern, right? In demographic segmentation, for instance, we take that large population and we chop them up into a smaller group based on things like their gender, so male, female, right? Age, maybe 20 to 25. That's the age group we're going after. Ethnic group, family life cycle stage, all of these, income, right? Household type, they're all demographic variables. Each one of these things qualifies as a demographic segmentation variable, right? The United States, one of the cool things about the United States, it keeps excellent records. The Census Bureau, for instance, is publicly available. And I think they used it on this map. Hold on. If you go see, look down here at the sources. Um, yeah, down here, census.gov/search hyphen results. Like they just went to the census to get this data. So the United States keeps pretty good records that's publicly available, which is great for if you're looking for demographic segmentation stuff. Um, and then just bear with me. If you'd like to come back later and kind of like scroll through some of this, um, when the lecture has been archived, you could do that as well. I just wanted to get to this final psychographic segmentation. Um, with psychographic, we differentiate a population based on like values and like lifestyle factors common to the group. Right. So the most common method for developing these profiles is you might conduct some like survey, asking your survey respondents to agree or disagree with certain like activities, or interests or something like that, to find things that people, to find patterns that people might share, um, and whatnot. You might think also like it's very closely related to like behavioral segmentation. Um, this is more about values and maybe lifestyle. Behavior, of course, would be related, but like perhaps like a lifestyle factor. It could be things like you like to go camping, maybe you like to go mountain biking. Those kind of bleed into behavioral segmentation. Um, but certainly has to do with like lifestyle factors, like if you're like athletic or you like the outdoors or something like that, um, et cetera, et cetera. So, okay, so there's psychographic and demographic. I realized that wasn't a huge bit of lecture on these, but if you go into the course resources under, or the books and resources, there's a couple articles in there about psychographic and demographic segmentation, if you'd like to look that up, just a little bit more. I feel like that'll help. But yeah, go through, read what you can. The paper also asks you to discuss features and benefits. I would recommend going and doing a Google search and doing like, what's the difference between features and benefits in marketing and see what articles come up and try to find articles that have like examples of a feature and then a benefit, because the paper asks you to list features and then list the benefits. Features generally bleed into benefits. Features like become benefits. It's hard to explain, but um, you'll be able to see much more clearly with an example. So just find an article with an example, and you should be good to go. So that's gonna kind of conclude our first live chat here this week. Most of the units I'm gonna do priority is gonna be like try to give you cliff notes or little cheats of how to get through the assignments each week, so to perform well on the assignments, and then whatever time is left over, we'll lecture, kind of like we did today. But today was a very truncated lecture. But anyways, thank you, everyone, for coming. It was great to meet you all. Any questions along the way, throw them into Messenger. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And good luck with your assignments. Make sure to get those discussion boards done, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.